Welcome back to Cityline. In this segment, I have someone who I have known for a very long time, and I have watched this person evolve in directing, in teaching, in acting. I mean, this person has their fingers in the tapestry of theater. I am talking about Brittany D. Henderson, and she is the director of the upcoming musical Disenchanted at Tacoma Musical Playhouse. Brittany, welcome to Cityline.
Thank you so much, Amanda. It's always a pleasure to be with you.
It's great to see you because I don't get to see you unless, we're doing something in person or we're like, dropping kids off or something like that. So it's so amazing when you say you're directing Disenchanted, you almost want to say you're directing Enchanted, but then it's really not. So first off, I mentioned your background, but give our audience a little more than that. What is your background that leads you to direct Disenchanted?
Yeah, I had the privilege of attending a University of Puget Sound some time ago, and I earned a BA in theater arts there. So, and the wonderful thing about the theater program there is that you get to do a little bit of everything. So you're working on your acting and you're directing your technical skills as a theater artist. And since that time, even though I chose a career path that put me in higher education, I've kept up with theater. So I've been an actor in the South Sound theater community for over 15 years. I've done a lot of directing of youth theater at Visitation Catholic STEM Academy, Camp TMP, and have started getting to work with adults as well, having directed at Auburn Community Players and at Tacoma Musical Playhouse.
Oh my gosh. So obviously you've got some great credentials when it comes to this, and you could have directed anything. So why did you take on this project? And once you get your head around that, tell us what Disenchanted is about.
Yeah. Well, I think it's partly because I'm just a girl who can't say no when John Douglas Rake asked me to do something. But I was really excited about this project because it was an opportunity to really have a show that represents women and non-binary individuals, highlights them and their talents in this cast. And then we worked really hard to put together a creative team and crew that was also made up primarily of women and non-binary individuals. And so that has been super exciting. Getting to have that representation. Also, I love musical comedy. And this all harkens back to kind of a vaudeville variety show kind of format. And in Disenchanted, we've got 10 Disney princesses who are none too happy with the way they've been portrayed in the media. And they're really here to set the record straight for the audience and tell them their real stories and reveal more of who they are authentically.
Oh my gosh, so now that you tell me that's what it's about, my mind shifted to women lined up around the block for the audition process, because that is something that every woman can speak to, misrepresentation. So what was the audition process like, and was it hard to get it down to 10?
Yes, absolutely difficult to get it down to 10. We have so many talented performers in the South Sound area. It's really kind of an embarrassment of riches. So we start every season. TMP hosts their general auditions. And so we saw folks live back in July. Also, folks had an opportunity to submit video auditions this year, which does open up some access for folks, which I think is a great step forward. Then we did our callbacks, and I actually had 2 different rounds of callbacks to accommodate everyone's busy schedules. And we had an audition panel at those callbacks. And so I did ask another member of our Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Advisory Board at TMP to join that panel, because I did want to make sure we were thinking about diversity in casting. Certainly the script calls for very specific ethnicities and race in the script. So we wanted to make sure we stayed as true to that as possible. And we ended up with a cast of 10 wonderful humans that have just been a joy to work with.
So I bet they are. So what is the best part about having this cast bring Disenchanted to life right now?
It's the laughter. Certainly right now, I don't think we have enough of that. It just feels like we're so weary from this pandemic, right? On top of everything else that's going on in the world. And The laughter. I have several times laughed so hard while they're rehearsing. I'll drop my pencil, I'll go and pick it up. I hit my head as I'm coming back up. It's been a lot of fun. And it's a really supportive group of people who've really been there for each other as well.
I bet. And I love that you use that word weary, because that's an old word that my grandma used to talk about. And boy, you nailed it. We are weary. Mm-hmm. So given that we are weary, but we're resilient, what's been the biggest challenge of directing this production? Do you have people who just are exhausted, or is it that people want to hang out and talk?
We've had a lot of both. I was actually surprised early on in the rehearsal process when people weren't like darting out the door, and they were hanging out and chatting with one another. But we do see exhaustion. There's people have a lot of things they're trying to juggle in terms of taking care of their families and their work schedules. And then certainly it's been a challenge, as people have been exposed to COVID-19, or feeling symptoms themselves. We've been really strict about our quarantine and isolation procedures throughout the rehearsal process. And so if we got notification that someone was exposed, they stayed home, right? And we had to adjust our rehearsal schedule because we really wanted to make sure we were keeping everyone as safe as possible.
Oh, I love that. And I have to say that, boy, if you look at re-examining your life in a very traditional sense because of how someone views your gender, COVID certainly has busted that wide open about who stays home and takes care of people. Right. Because it's just not always traditionally what you read in a story, is it? Right. Much like Disenchanted, we actually get to the real truth.
Yes.
So Brittany, when you think about who would come out and see this show, first off, why should they come out and see the show? And what do you want audiences to walk away with after they are done and the curtains closed?
Yeah, I think, come for the good time. I do promise laughters. It is ridiculous. There's a little bit of the absurd. We're really trying to dig into that vaudeville variety show and play up the comedy. So come for the laughs. I will say it is PG-13. It's irreverent. It's bawdy. And so be prepared for that. But definitely come for that. And then I also hope you walk away with a good bellyache from the laughter, and also doing that reflection on what have these messages we've gotten from mainstream media done to us, and what we think should happen with our lives, and what does happily ever after really mean. I think coming away and just having an opportunity to think about that, letting the comedy kind of give you an opportunity to reflect on that. That's what I hope people will take away.
I love that. Oh my gosh. And all I can think of is how good it would feel to laugh again.
Yes.
So last night I was up looking at the show, and then of course, time to go to bed, going through all the things that keep me happy and calm as I go to sleep. And I'm on social media, and I see that Disenchanted has made a decision about the production. So would you tell us what that is?
Yeah, absolutely. As folks know, Pierce County is currently one of the highest numbers of COVID cases in the state. We look like we're kind of hitting our spike with the Omicron variant. And so we really wanted to make sure our patrons were safe, even though we've been really strict about our protocols for our cast and crew. We just felt like it was a good time to just delay the production. We're going to postpone the opening of our production by 2 weeks, and then extend another weekend. Make sure that there's 4 performances every weekend. And that's really just for the safety of our patrons as well as our creative team. With public health officials saying, maybe don't go anywhere until the end of the month, we felt like it was important to make that decision. It's a tough decision. It means we had to shift some other productions in the lineup for the season, but we know it was the right decision.
Absolutely. And I want to say thank you for loving us so much that you're going to keep us safe while we're getting our dose of laughter we've missed for the past 3 years. Brittany, you mentioned that, and I know that you teach. Children love you. Teens love you. So let's talk about some of the upcoming education classes that TMP has been known for. And of course, we have the website across your face where all of our parents and our students can go and check the dates.
Absolutely. So our Camp TMP program run by Kayla Littleton has lots of opportunities for youth. So you'll want to check out Homeschool Academy and After School Academy opportunities with Camp TMP.
I love that. Brittany, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for the generosity of your spirit that you have given to us, because laughter is the best medicine, and so is understanding that sometimes we have to pause because science tells us to. So thank you for keeping us safe, and thank you for making us laugh, my dear, and you take care.
I will. Thank you so much, Amanda.
You're welcome. Well, that wraps up another great segment of Cityline. It is always a pleasure and a privilege to be in your home. We're zooming from my kitchen, and we've given you some great things to think about in this past hour. So please, I think you know what I'm going to say. Get yourself vaccinated, get yourself boosted, wear a mask, and check in on those you love. And when you come back, as always, we'll be waiting for you right here at Cityline. Take care.
Tacoma, that's my home, yeah, Tacoma, that's my home. Tacoma, that's my home, place I call my own. Tacoma, that's my home, yeah, Tacoma, that's my home. Oh, you're from Seattle, oh, you're from LA, oh, you're from Chicago, but Tacoma's where you'll stay. Oh, you're from Seattle, from LA, you're from Chicago, but Tacoma's where you'll stay, yeah. Tacoma, that's my home, from the fires to the loam. Tacoma, that's my home, yeah, Tacoma.